Welcome to the Center for Career Development workshop, Acing the Interview. This workshop covers 3 main topics. Number 1, before the interview. Number 2, during the interview. And lastly, number 3, after the interview, where we will talk about what you can do after the interview, as well as action steps you can take after this workshop. So you have landed yourself an interview. Congrats! Now, what can you do to prepare? First, do your research on the company or graduate school to which you are applying. When researching a company, you should look at their website to locate their mission statement, discover current events within the company, and familiarize yourself with the areas which sets the company apart from its competitors. Glassdoor.com and studentdoctor.net are great resources to utilize during this process. And for graduate schools, visit the program's website to see what sets this specific program apart from the others. By looking at the faculty and staff, program curriculum, and student and alumni success stories, you will have a better understanding of whether or not this program is a good fit for you. Now that you have put the time and effort into researching the company or graduate school, your next step is to prepare for the interview. Think of the interview as a presentation. The more familiar you are with the material, the more confident and natural you will come across. The first task you can complete to practice is to look up general interview questions online. These general questions can help you prepare answers that reflect past experiences and skills that you think make you a good fit. You should schedule a practice interview at the Center for Career Development, as we can help facilitate what an actual interview would be like. We fill up early, so be sure to do it at least a week in advance. Next, be sure to prepare questions for the interviewer ahead of time. You should have 3 to 5 questions ready to ask before your interview. If you've done your research successfully, you should be able to ask some thoughtful questions about the position or the interviewer themselves. We will go more in depth on what to ask toward the end of the presentation. And lastly, it is highly important that you make sure you know where you are going for your interview and that you set time aside to arrive 10 minutes early. Remember, plan for construction, traffic, etc. Allow yourself a comfortable amount of time to get to the location 10 minutes early without looking frazzled. The night before the interview, review your responses to optional interview questions and think about what you want to ask the interviewer regarding the position and company. Make sure you have a few updated copies of your resume or your CV. Lay out your outfit to ensure it is ready to go for the morning. Do any ironing that is necessary. We will talk about how you should dress for your interview in a minute. Now you have prepared, so get some sleep. Employers have given us feedback that they can tell when a student is sluggish or tired in an interview, and this reflects negatively upon the student. This will also show the interviewer that you made the interview a priority. Preparing for the interview is key. However, many people lose their opportunity at the position they are applying for because they are not professionally dressed. You need to dress for success. Generally, you should wear a suit for an interview. This can be a full suit with pants or a skirt suit. Make sure that your shirt or blouse is appropriately cut so that it is not too revealing. Then, find a pair of shoes and socks that match your suit. Make sure your shoes are polished and either flat or with a low heel. You should be sure that your hair and facial hair are professional, neat, and clean. Also, be sure to keep your accessories to a minimum so that they are not distracting. An important note to remember: although the preferred interview attire is a full suit, some industries and programs are less formal, and you could wear business casual to an interview instead. Know and research your industry. You can even pay attention to what representatives wear to career fairs and presentations and use this as a clue for how you should dress. Today is the day of the interview. You want to arrive about 10 minutes early. Try to bring a pad folio with paper and a pen to take notes. It shows interest and will help you remember the specific details of the interview later. You can purchase one of these at the bookstore, and you will find it very handy for any interviews you may have. Bring extra copies of your resume for everyone interviewing you so they can have it for their records. Turn your cell phone off before entering the building. Assume the hiring committee will ask everyone from the receptionist to the interviewer about the opinion of you. So shake hands firmly and have good posture and manners. Remember, everyone you meet is part of the interview. Your interview starts the minute you step foot outside your car, so your behavior should reflect that. Be professional from the start. When you get into your interview, remember nonverbal communication is as important as verbal communication. Be aware of your posture as well as how you are moving your hands. It's okay to talk with your hands, just don't conduct an orchestra. Body language affects how others see us, but research has also shown that it may also change how we see ourselves. Be sure to stand in a posture of confidence. Feel free to smile as this makes you seem friendly and personable. Lastly, make eye contact with the interviewer. Now on to verbal communication. Try to avoid filler words such as and like. Do not rush your answers. If needed, take a moment to pause before answering. A helpful tip is to take a breath before you speak. This can allow you time to think and help minimize ums and other verbal pauses. The actual interview can be broken up into 3 parts. 1. Small talk and introductions. 2. Formal questions and answers. And 3. Questions for the interviewer and wrapping up. For small talk and introductions, always focus on relevant information. This is your time to tell the employer a bit about yourself. Explain your background and how you became interested in the industry or company or organization. Then, delve into relevant experiences and skills you have. Discuss how you fit into the organization, what your career goals are, and recent related accomplishments. However, don't give personal history. This can be overwhelming for the employer to hear. Instead, stick to your career and industry interests and how you started developing those interests. Example, don't talk too much about where you're from, family, interests, etc., unless it's extremely relevant to the position. Keep your answers brief. Avoid rambling and stay focused. This should last about 1.5 to 2 minutes. After introductions are done, you will move into the formal questions and answers. Some questions will be very general and related to your resume. However, others could be behavioral and require specific examples using structured answers. These structured answers can be answered utilizing the STAR method. STAR stands for situation, task, action, and result. In each STAR answer, you would discuss a specific example from a professional experience, such as classroom, activities, work, internship, or volunteer experience. Do not use examples that include personal examples such as friendships, roommate drama, partying, or disagreements with your family members. These professional examples can set you apart from other candidates because they emphasize your specific experiences and the skills you learn from them, rather than just telling the employer you have a skill or experience without backing it up with a specific story in mind. So once you've answered questions utilizing the STAR method, feel free to ask questions to the interviewer when they say they would like you to. Don't be afraid to ask questions during the interview if it is an appropriate time and circumstance. However, most interviewers should ask you at the end if you have any questions. This is where you can ask about projects you will work on, training opportunities, information about the interviewer, such as their background, why they like working at the company, or their career path, current events impacting the company, future challenges to the company, or the company's plan for future growth. Do not ask about salary or hours, housing accommodations, or vacation time and holidays, as they can make it seem like you are only looking for perks in the job and don't care about the position. Also steer away from conversational topics, company criticisms, or personal topics, since these types of questions can make the interviewer uncomfortable or offended. Now, conclude the interview. Be sure to get the interviewer's contact information if you haven't already. Then, end with a firm handshake and thank you for the interviewer's time. Once you get home, think about your performance. This can be a great time to reflect on how you did, what you did well, and what improvements can be made for the future. Write down questions that you felt were difficult or where you wanted to improve so you can prepare for future interviews. Then, contemplate your impression of the company, organization, or school. The interview goes two ways because you are interviewing them for a fit just as much as they are interviewing you. If you did not feel like the company or school was a good fit for you, don't ignore that feeling. The final step is following up with the interviewer. Following up is vital. This can be a deal breaker, as a thank you note will make you stand out. They may see 20 candidates in one day. You want to make sure they remember you. For the thank you note, an email is fine. However, if you would like, you can also follow up with a handwritten note. Your email or note should be sent within 24 hours of your interview. Inside your email or note, reference something discussed in the interview, reiterate your interest, and thank the interviewer for their time. A sample thank you note can be found in the Resume and Professional Writing Guide on the CCD's website. So now that you have learned how to ace the interview, let's conclude with action steps you can take. Number 1. Review interviewing informational handouts found under the Student Resources tab at career.uconn.edu. Number 2. Schedule a practice interview. Make sure and schedule the interview at least a few days to a week in advance, as the spots fill up quickly. After you have done the PI, view your recorded interview and review the feedback from CCD representative to keep analyzing how well you are interviewing. Lastly, be sure to complete the Acing the Interview assessment located on the CCD On Demand on Husky CT in order to receive credit toward the Certificate of Professional Development. To learn more about the Certificate of Professional Development program, please visit the CCD website.